Okay, we are live. Audio is happening apparently. So let's get started. I'm David from FiddlePixel. I am making games early in the morning before anyone else wakes up because that's the only time when I can reliably get some time for it. I've been working on Family Tree. It's coming along pretty nicely. Yeah, I need to fix up the menus. I'm just looking at the pretty ugly menu right now. But I've got a few pretty big bugs fixed last time that were a little bit game breaking. They could lead to a state where you couldn't keep playing or just skip past levels. So I think they were important to get out of the way. I've got some notes about the tutorial system, but I'm going to add a little stats system first. This will be quite a straightforward one. It's really just keeping track of some statistics about things that have happened in the game and just tracking those over time, and I'll probably add a reset as well. So I just need to set up a singleton stats class. Visit stats. At some point, stats reset. Button in settings. And also just record some stats. So this is sort of not essential to core gameplay, but I did want to track it because I think it's interesting sometimes to have those things being tracked. Gives you a bit of perspective potentially, and it is something that I can then hook into later, even if I'm not displaying them. That's a good point, actually. So I'm going to display them somewhere. Not necessarily all of them, but we'll see. All right, without further ado, let me just pop over to the development screen here. And I don't know what is going on with my chat connection here. Seems to be consistently an issue with Restream. So I might just build the game here. So this is all up at that URL there as merge people. And I'm just going to pop a browser open and have a quick look whether there's something I can do about that, that chat not being connected. Because if you're watching from YouTube, I'm not going to see incoming messages. It's not Restream, is it? Stream Elements. Is it? No, it is Restream. Looks like it's a common problem. doesn't seem to be working. So apologies if you're on YouTube. You can jump onto Twitch and send messages. It's possible that Restream will send your messages. Forget if I have the chat being collated between the two platforms. I'll just try reopening it and see if that helps. In the meantime, we should have a game running here. The menu that will need redoing, that'll be part of the polish that comes later. We've got a play button. We've got a game. We're on level 6 right now. And level 6 is a bit too complicated for me to just play the whole thing on stream. So, let's see. You'll probably end up with something like this. No, that does not work. Oh, you must go here. That one's locked in place. It can be a parent for that. Or that. Okay, this one has yellow hair, but it's bald, so you can't tell. Maybe you. Okay. Did I just say I wasn't going to play that? Well, that's probably a good sign, because it means it's a bit fun. Okay, looks like that chat has connected, so hopefully messages will come through from everywhere. Okay. Right. So what I want is some kind of stats showing somewhere. And maybe on that main menu, there'll be a place to show them. I'm putting each sort of different system in its own folder to some extent. So here we go, stats system. And let's just make a script here. Stats manager. There, that'll do. So this will be a singleton. So let me just grab some stuff from another singleton, like this stuff here. And the rest of the stuff here. I've made enough singletons by copy pasting here that I really should probably just make a class I can extend or something like that. Okay, but we don't want it to be a game manager, we want it to be a stats manager. And this area should say stats manager. There we go. So this is one of multiple ways of implementing singletons. I've opted for quite a simple one, not using any kind of dependency injection or anything. Here, pretty much just have an instance which is only readable. You can't set that from anywhere else. It's just private, statically stored, and it'll return. Oh, it'll set it when this wakes up, if multiple of them try to wake up, then any subsequent ones will destroy themselves, and I'll also generate an error in the log so that I can figure out why I've got 2 instances there. So fairly straightforward. It means I can just go stats manager to instance, and I'll have that instance anywhere else. Let me close that. Right. So I'm setting this up, and I guess what I'm going to have in here is a bunch of stats. So I've got a couple of options. I could store each separately, or I could have one thing that holds all of the stats. Sort of a container full of stats that are then sort of holdable. Let me draw that. Why not? So that'll give a clearer picture of what I'm talking about. Because there are pros and cons to both options. There always are. But to what extent are those relevant? Okay. Good. I accidentally drew on the real background before. So I've made myself an actual new background. And okay, looking at stats options. So basically here we're looking at, I'm going to go with different colors. Basically here we're going with either having a class, which we've got just one instance of it, and it's got sort of a set of stats in there, and then all of the code to update those stats from elsewhere without messing them up. And that's one way to do it. Another approach is have those stats have some kind of a container class or struct with all those stats in it. And same thing, all these bits of code here that interact with those values in there. I haven't kept that color. Let's just try and get something close. So pretty similar as far as how the code would work. It's just potentially reaching into a container to do it. And what I'm looking at here is when we're saving this, which will just be in player prefs probably. When we're saving these things, it would potentially be saving each one of those individually versus handling them as a whole block and putting them in there. So I might go with this option here. I'm just thinking about, I will be updating these individually. So serializing the whole lot at once would be a bit inefficient. And so I don't think I'm getting much benefit in this case here. If I was making a save file for these games and therefore needing to grab all my stats and plonk them into a save, then I think maybe that container would make more sense. Although I could always go from these stats to a container just before save. So much of a muchness, probably not worth the amount of time I've just spent on deciding. But we'll go with this option. So we'll just have each stat saved, which means we need to load them at some point, probably at start, which the template helpfully reminds us is called before everything. Right. Is start going to be the right place for this? Let's just have a look at Game Manager, because I think we're using, we're using player prefs at start, just there. Excuse the yawn, it is early, as always, when I've been doing these streams. I did try to move them to later in the day, but I'm tired at the end of the day. And it's complicated. I was going to put a comment just now saying load all stats from player prefs, but why don't I make a method called load stats from player prefs and generate that right here. I'm going to need some keys for these stats. And I've already got player prefs keys stored somewhere. So I'll actually look back on Game Manager here. Setting keys. I'm going to want to get those setting keys. I'm putting all my player prefs keys in the same place so that I don't go accidentally trying to use the same key for two different things. It won't necessarily stop that, but also just to make sure I can't have a typo in one of these keys. I'm mostly going to be getting ints here. Okay, so we've got preferences here. I wonder, should I prefix all of these with stat or something? And we've got a call to string on those enum constants. Okay, well, this is probably a good place to decide what I want to call some of those stats or what I'm actually going to record. So what do I want to record there? Just going to grab my I'll just start that game playing. So I think back when I thought of adding those stats, it was still a merge people game, so there was still the number of people being merged together. But here I can record how many times photos are moved. I can record how many times photos are I'll rename these at some point soon. Number of photos dropped in slots. Probably do highest level. reached, and I'm thinking about things about how you've positioned things in the tree. So, and our photos swapped. So that's when you drop a photo in a slot, and another one, the one that was in there, pops out of the slot. And yeah, so I think incompatible parents. Dropped. So this could be things like this is dropping an incompatible parent, this is dropping an incompatible child, and incompatible combination. So that's an incompatible combination. I could separate like there. So yeah, I will rename all of these, but I'm just recording the basic concepts. I don't need to record like everything right now, but the more things I start capturing earlier on in the game, the more valid the stats will be. If somebody starts playing earlier at that URL, by the way. Yeah, so let's see. What else? I mean, I have things about who has spawned. See, so photo spawned. Oops. This is like bold. So we could have like other hair lengths. Could have hair textures. Could have skin colors. Could have what else? I had just thought of something else, I swear. Oh yes, I was just thinking of like identical. So, like, as far as I can tell, these two here are identical. It's a bit annoying how every time I click away the music stops. I wonder if there is a way for Unity keep editor playing when not in focus. Yeah, it looks like a few people have asked about this. Yeah, why don't I put this over here in case you want to see what I'm reading. Project settings, player, resolution, presentation, running background. Oh, look at that. Uh, Such a small thing generates a little bit of internet drama. Okay, so that code looks nice. So I'm just laughing at someone taking offense here. This is how long ago? It's 2024 now. I was just checking the year on my computer there. So 2015 is nearly 10 years ago. It's 9 years ago. So little games, maybe bigger games by now. But they were taking offense at someone saying that a particular code solution was not ideal. Just like, that's not offensive. It's just a comment about the solution. Anyway, so that's like a running background. I could just pop that in the Game Manager Awake, for example. It's just we go. If we're in the editor, then run the application in the background. Equals true. Okay, so running background is just a Boolean property. Okay, so now if I run that, we might actually have the music continue, but it shouldn't affect any of the platforms I build to. Okay, so I click over here. Yeah, it's still running. That's good. Oh, time we could record time played. Actually, and I could track the time spent focused on a level as well. Where did I put those setting keys? See there? Just move that over here. There we go. So, you have time-related things like time menus. Time levels. I'm not really doing anything to track time at this point. There's not even a timer or anything. Oh, I just remembered some little thing that I want to do. Which is just show the level number. On the page, so it'll be like the page number down here or something. That'll be what level you're on. Because I think that would just be interesting. I've got to fix that music loop. It starts the next loop of the music automatically, and then it manually restarts it. And I think I used to have multiple bits of music in there, and some of them were problematic on stream, so I've just reduced it down to the one that doesn't seem to have any issues. Am I going for time here? Okay. Could do like quickest level, slowest level, things like that. Oh, and it could be time spent on other stuff too. There, this one, like time spent. Time on level complete, because that's like inspecting completed tree, potentially. And like time on level start. So I don't think I'll do all of those. Alright, but that's enough of having that running. Wow, that's gone to a big tree. I might need to reset the current level down to 1 so I can actually test a bit. Oh, I think I can also do like photos correctly positioned. So that'll be photos that this is on level complete. How many of the photos did you get? Oh, and just levels completed. So I haven't added it yet, but I do want to make it possible to choose a level. So if you've been up to level 10, just to be able to go, okay, I want to play level 4 again, something like that. So I guess that would go here on the main menu. So you're either just going to jump in and play the latest level or something else. Anyway, let's have a look at these now. I feel like I'm looking up too much, and I think if I put this down a bit, it would be better. Now I'm just considering my whole streaming setup and potentially having what I'm working on being down lower like this. Oh, geez, I'm not working on a save and load system, am I? Really got to get been poking around at how to write an OBS plugin, so I can write a plugin that will. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. See this. I popped this open to update that text there, but when I'm thinking about making games, I'm very unlikely to be switching to thinking about the task showing correctly in the stream. So I need to automate that. So what I basically need is to have something that will either have like a to-do list that is linked into what's showing up here in some way, and have it sort of pick up on that automatically, where like I have a plugin where I've built the UI for it, or this is Obsidian, it just saves to markdown files. So I could make something that just reads that markdown file and maybe looks for this and just puts that up the top there, or it looks for this and then like walks up the tree of things and says those. So interesting challenge, but it is time out of developing the game, so I'll get to it at some point. All right, so stats. Okay, so do I want to prefix all of these with stat? Or total? I'm wondering, should I perhaps have a prefix? So put these in a separate place and just prefix all of them. So instead of just setting keys, I could have like stats, and that could just be a prefix for setting for all stats keys, and then I would put the two keys together. So it would be like stats.photos moved or something. Am I thinking about this too soon? This is sort of the persist stats. Yeah, let me not try and record too many stats right now. So let me start with something easy. Let's just do photos moved. Now I'm actually thinking about this again. Yeah. And do I want to have a whole lot of separate fields? That was the question before. And one of the advantages to having some kind of a container of fields here is that this could be something that maps a string to an int, for example. Most of these will be integers. Or I can have a couple of things here. Did I just say the word could, or did I make up a new word? Could. So I could have like my counts as a string key to an integer, and I could have anything related to times. Don't know why I drew that above. Wait, I do know why. And that could be a mapping of strings to whatever, some kind of timestamp, duration. And that's because this represents like a collection of these things. So I could put as many things as I want in there. And then I could just iterate those to save them into the player prefs. So still multiple bits of code doing that, but nothing very rigorous. Rigorous? Is that the word? I don't know if that's the word I want. Doesn't matter. Let me make these bigger again. Don't need them little for the stream, at least. So now if I did take an approach like that, I guess I would want a mapping some kind, probably a dictionary in C#. It wouldn't even have to be a it wouldn't even have to be a string to something either. This could be enum, like a stat enum. Computer is having trouble. All I did was open a website. Oh, this website's trying to do everything. And that's not good. Whoa, man. How many cookies do you need? And why do you make it so difficult not to accept every cookie? It's just a block. Why do you need a million cookies? but they don't have a checkbox. They've got allow all and they don't have a necessary only. I don't think you're following the rules here of how you're supposed to do cookies. Cookiebot. Sometimes it is nice to know web technologies and how to edit the page. Yeah. All right. I think we just want a dictionary anyway. What a horribly inefficient website. Jeez. All right. Yeah, there's advantages to that. Do I want to be handling the stats keys all over the place? Now we reduce the number of methods. See, if I've got it like this, I might have to have like a property per stat. And then I would be potentially wiping those stats out by accident if I accidentally set instead of increment or something. So I think I want to be able to have like some kind of code that'll just do +1 on a stat. But do I want to implement that a bunch of times once per stat? I don't think so. So yeah, I think I'm going to make an enum of stats. They're going to make an enum of count stats. So let me do that. I'll just do that here and then I'll extract it to its own file. So let me just grab all of this out of here. And I will use this one. Actually, let's do end of line comments on there. And then one that we're not using yet, which is yeah. I don't know if I'll do any duration stats, but just in case. Okay, let's call this count stats. Did I name that the same thing? I think that's fine having the same name, so that way it will actually look the same in the key, so that'll be good. So the main reason to, or the only reason to include this here is so that it means I can't name another thing that. Well, I guess I could just refer to this key, but I won't intend to be using this on its own. Okay, so the way we'll access these is count stats something. Do I want stats or stat? Or even just counts? Alright, we can do photos moved. And the rest of this I'll just leave as is. So I've got this counts. See, I'm thinking of counts just to be a nice short name since I'll be using this a fair amount. Oh, you won't like that, do you? Move to counts.cs, please. And I'm also going to move this into the stats system directory. Do you need to do anything fancy to move things? I don't think so. Just move that there. Might take a long time. Oh, okay. It didn't take a long time. Well, that's good. Geez, this is taking me a long time, isn't it? Possibly analyzing somewhat more than I need to here. Sorry, something was focused over there that made it a distracting color. All right. So we've got our counts. I guess that would be called durations. It's moved it, but it's opened it. Yeah, so there's our count. So we've got photos moved. Let's record that stat. So we're going to load all our count stats. Okay, so I think what we want here is I just go below here because that's all Singleton stuff. And yeah, we're going to want instance related things. I think we want a dictionary from these type of enum constants. From counts to integer. Does that work? Is a dictionary just like a hash? Some sort? No, I won't worry too much about efficiency of creation here. Cool, so we've got just a new dictionary there. That dictionary count stats is going to be loaded up with prefs in here. So we're going to get we want our key and our default value. So let's see what so we've got sort of a compound key here. We're going to grab that key. Dot. Now we want the key from counts. Dot. photos moved. That's what we'll go with. And we want it to default to 0 if that doesn't exist, because then it will start at 0. Now I'm going to want count stats dot add. Does add or update? So we're going to want that counts.photos moved. And we want that value that's being pulled from player prefs or the default of 0 right there. Now I'm not going to copy paste this a million times because that doesn't make sense to do. Because what that really is a we've got a key here, and instead of doing it like that, we should have just grabbed that and said we don't want a constant. And an argument. It's just the local. Got a constant, an argument, method, a local function, parameter. What happened to just extract local? Unless that's what this is talking about, but I can't tell. Local constant. Okay. There. Just going to call that key because that is going to be the specific stats key here. That means that I can then extract this. So a bit of a UI fail there on that. This is going to be so now we're loading that based on this key, which we can now inline. And then I guess we can probably just have an array of count stats that we want to use, or probably even better, probably just get counts. Is there a way to grab everything, all the keys out of that enum? Probably get names. So array of strings. that it? What do we want here? I'm sure I've done enum to get named somewhere else. Let me find all references. Type of wrapped. Okay. Okay, cool. So this is all of our, let's call it count stats. I don't really want that. I want an array of counts values. So is there something in here for that? Get values. Just get values, give me does that give me counts? So that just returns a whole array, hey? Let's just Google this, C#. How to loop through all enum values in C#. All right. Second. All right. Get values, apparently. Here we go. That's the typed version. That was what I was going for. .cast, like that. Enumerable. I don't think I'm missing a cast. If we just that. So then what do we get? It's an enumerable. Yeah, we don't need an array. We need an enumerable anyway. So now we should just be able to do that. And this. And that should be a counts. So then we should be able to do this. and rename this. So, there we go. So we've got all our count stats. There, so whatever we put in that enum is going to end up getting loaded from player prefs, and that's a good start. So they'll always be initialized in that dictionary, one at a time, like that. So I better go here and just have the ones that I want. How to start this? Okay, let me just comment out. Oops. Let me just use the right shortcut to comment things out. Let's do two different stats, because that means we're sort of testing if the system of handling multiple stats is working. So we go photos moved and photos swapped. I'm going to want something public. Might avoid update there. But let's just have a look. So we get increment, count, and that's good. We're just going to basically grab the count stats dot wait a minute. I gotta learn my syntax. Yeah, for these. Can we just do that? Does that work? The reason I haven't removed update here is I'm thinking about how am I going to update these stats. Is it bad to just hammer player prefs in how efficient is Unity player prefs? There's a bit of stuff to look at for player prefs. It's sort of only meant to hold a few keys. So I think the amount of things that I'm doing for stats should be fine, but I'm just wondering about the rate of saving them. Like if someone's picking up a photo every second, is that going to be an issue? There's a comment here. It says that people who spend time on programming forums are by definition not the most efficient people. Interesting. Yeah. Don't know. Well, let's just proceed as though it's not going to be an issue. So alright, so I want to get this compound key here. Oh, yeah, we don't need to string inside a template. String, so that's fine. Now this, I'll just extract a little method here. Right there. The method here, which is just settings key. There we go. I don't need to call it count settings key because it takes a counts argument, and this is C#, so we actually have a type system. So we can have another one for duration stats if we end up adding them. So the reason I've done that, so I've got my load. I want to add a save as well. So that would be player profs dot set int. Now we're going to want a key, and that's where that key comes in. Settings key for that key. And the value is, yeah, it's going to be the count stats for that value. So it'll just pull it straight from that dictionary and save it. And I can do that here. There. So in increments, it will do that. Do I want to do anything else with the counts at the moment? I've only got photos moved and photos swapped, so probably not. All right. Well, let me wire those two up, and then we can... Wait, do I have any way to actually see those things? I'm nearly out of time, and all I've done is this. Oh, well. It's going to be very easy to add more stats. I am persisting stats. I've set up the class. I haven't got a reset button, but I don't have them displaying somewhere either. I might just pop something in my debug canvas for now. So there's the debug canvas here. And got this input debug text right there. I duplicate that and just have this as the stats debug text, and just move that down a bit like so. And yeah, I can just pop some text into there. I'll enable that, and default text can just say stats so I know what's showing. Make that a bit smaller font. All right, so now let me grab that. So we've got debug overlay. Yeah, debug overlay. There we are. Let me just grab that. This one. And that a better name. Stats debug text. Give that a moment to regenerate. Put that there. Right there. Okay. So now I've got an update method here. And yeah, just want another block like this. Stats debug text is enabled. Then I'm going to want to get myself some. I'm just doing the same thing that the input debug text is doing. So yeah, that doesn't exist. That's fine. Now I'll just generate that method. And also I'll just unwrap that from these because we don't need them. And I can actually just put that like that and this one like that as well, because I just find that a little easier to read. And this is a solo project, so anyone who doesn't like it, well, they should offer to help, and then I might be motivated to change it. So this is going to be just a few things. I guess it'll be similar to this. So we're basically going to have grab the enum values. Like so. And not that kind of for loop. Reach. What am I doing here? Let's put this in a thing here. And then if I start going for each, then we'll get our keys and I think we can look these up out of stats. So what have we got to read these? we've got this increment. Okay, I've got a way to look up count. Stats manager instance dot get count. And the reason that's not working is because it is object. So I need that cast with that type there. That's not the right kind of brackets. Okay, so now we're getting, we've got the key and the count. So what we're going to want here, just that key and that count that's getting right there. Okay. We're just not doing anything with that string. Do we have a string builder? We do. Just a bit more efficient than serially concatenating strings together. We just want to append a line that is this thing here. And then we want to return to string. That'll give us our actual string. Okay, so pretty much just going to have all our count stats. We could add another block there if we have other types of stats. It's getting cold here in the southern hemisphere, and that's good. I like that. Finally, today, I was able to wear my Ugg boots. Actually, I have had cold toes on some other mornings, but I sort of forgot they existed. I started thinking to myself, oh, I should get some new slippers. And then I was cleaning up and putting something away, and I went, those are Ugg boots. Those are my Ugg boots that I got for my birthday last year. And thus I remembered they existed. So, that's the story of my Ugg boots. This should work now. But the numbers will be 0. And it'll be 0, and it'll stay being 0 for the whole time. Allow me to demonstrate. And meanwhile, let me go into, I think in person, yeah. Okay. So what we should see here, stats, oh, we should see here. What's the problem here? Don't tell me that instance is null. Something's null here. And it's got to be... Oh, okay, I think I see. Stats Manager instance is probably okay, is it? No. I think this must be null. This must not be defined yet, so what's probably happened is this has not run yet. In Awake. But I thought that all of the Awakes would run before all of the other things. Well, this is the debug overlay. So I think what I want to do here is just make sure that we can't crash the game with our debug text, because catch any exception in there and log exception. That's good. Log error. I just want to add my own little thing here. There we go. Okay. So what I suspect will happen is that will be fine, because I think it'll just fail on a few updates until that is in place, and then it will be fine after that. But unpause. Why would it care if this is now wrapped in a try catch? I'm just logging it. I'm not. Maybe. I would have thought wrapping in a try catch would stop it from breaking. It is hitting that catch block. Let's turn off error pause and try unpausing it. Yeah, it's just doing that. Okay. It's obviously not what I think it is, because I'm thinking that this is a something just not set yet. It's just suggesting some syntactic sugar. I just put a guard in here. Let's see. Would that perhaps fix it? Sounds like I'm out of time. And the clock agrees. Didn't want that to stay there. Now is it that stats manager instance? Oh, I figured it out. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, we're not initialized. It's a good reason for that I just figured out. That's a singleton. But I'm not using a type of singleton that will create itself. So I need to actually attach that to something. There was no instance because I had not attached it to anything. So now I've moved and swapped 0 photos. And that's going to stay at 0. All right, let me see if I can just, in a couple of minutes, get those incrementing now that I've set up everything. Probably want some kind of, we've got end dragging here, we've got start dragging here. There, this dragging equals true. And that is where we can grab our stats manager. There we go. And when we end dragging, that's when we've dropped something, right? Okay, if we're targeting a slot, then we're doing drop person on slot. And okay, yeah, that's fine. Set new person in slot. Here, if the person is not equal to null, this is when there's a person in a slot. So I can record that stat here. See, all of that setting up, now it's paying off. We want to increment. Photos are swapped right there. So now I've got something where I can just do that and we should just have it working. And we should see it over here too, updating in player prefs. Pick up, put down, pick up, put down, pick up, put down. Okay. 6, 7, 8. And let me do a swap. So I've got 9. There, now I've got one swapped. 2, 3. There we go. Yeah, we are tracking things. Not all of the things, but I've got a few things being tracked here. There. I'm not trying to finish this level here at this point because I was just trying to quickly get that moving, get that working, and I did. So now we're tracking some stats there, and they're being shown only in debug, but hey, that's a good start. So I think I can say, yes, I've recorded some stats. Now this, I think I want to put that somewhere in the real UI, not just in my debug overlay. And I don't have a reset button, but hey, that's a good start. Let me make a commit there, and next time I'll continue with it. And I think I'm getting messages in here. Okay, so make sure everything's saved up here. Save the scene, save the project, and grab my Git UI. I was going to see if I could start using the version control in here, but I'll learn that another time. Not when I'm trying to just quickly get this wrapped up so I can move on with other things such as day job. Right, so what have we got here? New game object and that kind of thing. That's all good. Debug overlay has been updated. Game manager. Noise happening out there, as well as me bumping the mic. I got that thing, that's cool. But I'll put that in a separate commit. And we're recording some stats here. Get our stats system, get our counts. That's a bit messy, but that's fine. That's just comments, and it is stuff that I might want to record. Oh, we're using Link here, are we? So Link is a bit slow. So what is using Link? I wonder, if anything. I'll just check that. So if I were to comment that out, what's that? Okay. I'm okay with using a bit of Link in here. It's just casting an array, so I think that's really just a type related thing that would probably not have any runtime effect. Cool, and we got our setting keys, which now has counts as well. And so you can see that prefix here, counts.photosmo. Is that just a function of how big I have this? Yeah, I'd be surprised if the keys were limited to such a short length. Knowing that I can't just move those, that I can't have the labels showing and just have these be smaller. Oh well, that's okay. And here, that's just a bundle version update from when I did a release before. I'll keep that separate as well. Okay, so now we have a working stats system, and I'll be able to go through and add more stats. Then I can record all of those and show them to users and use them for achievements too. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe that'd be a cool thing to do. I'll put that in the backlog here. Go get a nice achievement list stuff. So here, that is okay. And this one is just update. Release. Now I should actually put that here because that was when I did that release. Otherwise, yeah, it doesn't make much sense, which is why I've got this thing here. Consider making git tag automatically on a build. or a commit even. That would make sense. Yeah. So I don't think there's anything visible to users, so I won't run a new build yet. I'll probably get those displaying first and get the reset. And going to be pretty quick to add more stats to record, so I've added that to the list as well. Okay, thank you for watching. It is time for me to go and do my day job, which funds this whole thing by me being able to afford a computer and electricity and things like that. So thanks so much for watching. I have been David from FiddlePixel, and you've been watching me make Family Tree.